Hello everyone and welcome to MJ Hobby Corner. My name is Martin, and what I would like to do in this video is a very short update on a couple of new vehicles that I'm adding to my science fiction collection for mesh armies. These are 6mm roughly. Whenever you make mesh troops, that's roughly the scale. And so I made these IFVs. I've been zooming through these vehicles, making a wide variety of different sci-fi related vehicles for my games. And I'm going to have some new walkers and some other vehicles coming soon. Like I'm going to do a hovercraft series, and then I have a whole alien army that I'm planning, and that will probably progress throughout the summer. So if you're interested in mesh armies and any kind of builds related to mesh armies, then definitely stick around. I want to welcome new subscribers as well. Thank you for coming on board. And recently I've been working a lot on my Patreon. Julie and I are working on a campaign right now, Planetfall, the game Planetfall. So I've been busy. I've been very, very busy. But let's look at these IFVs. Well, this was made using clothespins, okay, and here's an example. I cut open the clothespin, and if you've purchased a Scratchbuilder monthly for May, I talk all about this. And I talk about how I cut the different areas of the clothespins so that I can take advantage of all those little notches and shapes that the clothespin produces. Now, the last video that I provided, you saw a wide variety of different creations with the clothespins. Now, why do I choose clothespins? Well, I've realized that making the vehicles out of clothespins has a couple of advantages. One of the advantages is that I can build the vehicles very, very quickly. The other advantage is that they can be easily replicated. So for example, I made these two IFVs. They look similar. They're not clones to each other, but they look very similar, and that's because clothespins all have the standard shape, right? And so you can just mimic your cuts, make sure you cut the pins where you want them, and then you can easily make two of the same vehicle. So there's a lot of advantages over my older builds where I use a layering technique of the mesh to produce the vehicle. Now, I still use that for very specialized vehicles, but I think this is working out very well. Now, what I really wanted to show here is one of the IFVs has the open hatch in the rear, and you can kind of see the little mesh troop coming out of the vehicle. Each of these vehicles has missile launchers. The turrets are also magnetized so that I can remove the turret and put something else like a missile launcher. And now I have a missile launching vehicle. It could be anti-air, it could be artillery, it could be any number of different things. And usually I will be preparing a video or an article in Scratchbuilder where I talk about how I store these. You know, storing the vehicles after you've worked on them, very important, and how I store all these little bits so that they don't get lost. I mean, that's one disadvantage. It becomes a little bit impractical when you have all these little bits hanging around, right? But I do love modularity, and I love how you can just change different weapons and give your vehicles different roles, okay? So what I wanted to discuss very quickly, though, is this little thing here. This is a track set, and when I first made this vehicle here, I actually attached those wheels one by one. As you can imagine, it took a long time to do that. So I started thinking, and I decided, you know, there has to be a better way. And there was. I was experimenting with different things, and what I did is I cut this little bit of index card, but I mean, I can use a bit of cardboard. I can use any number of different things. But the index card is flexible enough so that when I attach my little wheels, I can, with my pin here, make sure that I move them a little bit, make sure they're straight. These are a little bit closer together than the others, so this is a little demo that I made, but in the future I can clean this up a little bit so that the wheels are a little bit more evenly spaced. But the whole idea to this is that it goes right into the track assembly, right into the track that this vehicle has, which is made of mesh. That's a new way that I'm making tracks, and glues right to the base of the clothespin without any problem at all. So instead of sitting there and trying to do every single wheel at once, which took me like 35 minutes for each side, this it took me under a minute to assemble the second vehicle. Okay, and that's because of this little track assembly. So I think I'm on the right track with that. I'm going to keep experimenting, but I will be writing an article in Scratchbuilder Monthly for June that will be dedicated to armor. So we're going to be looking at these IFVs, how I made them. We're going to look at that track assembly and maybe design some kind of high-tech tank. And that's what we will concentrate on for June's issue. This has a ton of beads. Now, I will admit, these are like $6 US. At first glance, that is not that cheap. But when you look at how many beads the box has, how many projects I will be able to make, it really isn't bad. I mean, my glass beads, which I use for everything these days, this is 2 years old. I paid $10. I haven't even dented the amount of beads that there are in there, and I use them for everything. So they are pretty cost-effective materials, and so I like using them for wheels in these very small projects. All right, well, that's what I wanted to show you guys. These two vehicles, more and more vehicles are coming. I have some orbital transports and drop ships, and there are also a variety of games that I will be preparing for with these vehicles. So we'll talk about that little by little. So don't miss Scratchbuilder. If you don't know what it is, it's my zine for scratch building projects like these. It comes out every month. My patrons get a copy every month. If you want to see more of our games, RPG, solo RPG discussions, and war game discussions, check out our Patreon. All that stuff is on our Patreon. So thank you very much, guys. I hope you like these scratch builds. I'm liking how these things are coming out. You know, with the clothespins, it's a very interesting material to use to make vehicles. And we also use index card for the skin on the clothespins. You know, it's not really very difficult. So I will detail these projects very soon. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.